I'm a software engineer. I'm Spanish. I live in Spain.
Mhm.
And well, I was running my first company, which was a software-based company focused on open source. One day while watching TV with my family, something exploded in the program. They had a section where they made some experiments and something exploded. And the presenter said, wow, I would love that you could smell at home like we do at the set. So that turned something on my mind. Say, okay, why the smell is not exploded?
Yeah.
Because, 3D, other improvements with the site or even with the audio, but nothing for smells. So I decided to develop a system. 3 years after this, I had my first prototype. And today we have units for 5 continents. And yes, we are doing great with Olorama.
Where was this technology before you started? Obviously, like you said, it wasn't a lot of, places where you could go watch a movie and see an explosion or something and then all of a sudden smell it. Like, it's just not really mainstream. So where was the technology and where is it now as you're working with it and actually being able to sell the product and stuff?
Well, honestly, we design this for cinema or even home theater. But the fact is that we are doing more sales in VR or immersive experiences. We're doing well in this industry where immersion is important. So yes, today 90% of our customers are integrators or agencies. We
Hmm.
get our system and integrate in their projects, among other effects, other solutions. So we are manufacturers of the technology, but other third-party companies really design the full experience for
Hmm.
customers.
Hmm. And so, like, what is the next step? Because, like you said, a lot of people that are doing VR and AR are starting to invest in this. And I can see why, because that would enhance the immersiveness in whatever game you're playing or whatever the case may be. Do you see yourself leaning more into the AR VR space? Like, is since that's where most of your business come from, and do you see it more going towards the AR VR game side, more for the cinema and movie type thing? Where do you see this sort of technology heading as demand is starting to increase? Where do you see the business going overall?
Well, today this is a B2B business, which means it sells to other companies. But our dream is someday everybody can have one of these our system in their house and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy movies, enjoy the games with the smells. That's our
Mm-hmm.
dream. But today we are focused on B2B because it's where we are having more success. We are not Sony or Apple where it's not easy for us to distribute this around the world and on the houses. So yeah, that's our dream. But
Mm-hmm.
more realistic today is selling this to other companies. So it's
Mm-hmm.
B2B company.
So, how do you come up with your sense? How do you make that translate? Say I'm playing a VR game and watching a movie and I see a cheesecake or I see a trash can or something. How do you bring that to life? Like, where do you get those scents from? Where do you get that inspiration from? All that stuff.
Well, we have different providers of essence, of
Mm-hmm.
scents. So we get essential oils from them.
Mm-hmm.
So we can encapsulate this oil in the system. Some other scents we produce by ourselves. For example, gunfire. We burn gunpowder and capture the gases, extract them, and include in the
Mm-hmm.
system. So it depends on the smell, but most of them we get from providers who are specialized in synthesized aroma. And how we assign our link sends to a game or a movie. Today we do it manually. We need to play the movie and record the specific sense. But we are developing a solution based on AI. The AI can automatically process a movie or video and link the suitable sense to it.
So I can imagine that's time consuming, that you have to go back and watch the whole movie or play the game and take into account where all the scents and smells are. So that kind of does lead me into the next question as far as AI and how all of that works into it. How does that elevate or innovate your product? Obviously, it'll be helping you in the time department. You won't have to spend as much time, personally going by and picking every single scent or whatnot. As far as AI is concerned, how are you thinking of using that? Is that the only way you're using AI? Do you have a suite of things you would like to do with it to enhance what you do? How do you view that, as you have been a part of startups, so you understand technology and where things are headed? How do you view all of that stuff?
Our idea is to, to create a server, whatever, where you can, share your content and automatically get the smell accordingly. This will be an online service and it can work for movies or games or whatever, because
Mm-hmm.
it's based on the scenes that the AI identifies. But it's not as easy as identify the scene because for the smell, the scenes should, for example, an explosion which takes 1 second in the screen is not
Mm-hmm.
good for the smell because the smell persists longer.
Right.
So you need a longer scene, 10, 15 seconds at least, to link a smell to make a good experience. I think so we need to train the AI to get the suitable timeline with the proper sense.
Does the room have to be a certain size for the smell to dissipate correctly, or does it like, you know, if you're like putting them in like a bigger room, do you just need more synthesizers? Like, how do you sort of go about like logistics as far as like putting them in places, or like knowing how the smell is going to hit a certain place as opposed to like maybe a different one? Or like, say, a smell from a movie might hit differently from when you're in a video game, to where like, say, you might be in a rainforest and you can smell the rainforest, or something to that effect. Whereas like a movie, like you said, if it's like an explosion or something, like you don't want to smell that explosion for the a couple scenes or whatever. How do you go about dispersing the synthesizers and determining what smells go where and all of that stuff?
The intensity is configurable, so you can activate one smell for longer or short. This is a distributed and scalable solution for larger spaces. You need more devices all working synchronously. One device covers a single room, a living room, and a standard living room can cover one machine. But if you have larger space, then yes, you need to replicate the number of devices and just adjusting the intensity for each scent, you can get the effect that you mentioned, not mixing scents between scenes in a
Hmm.
movie, for example.
Yeah. And so how many scents like do you have, like, in total? Like, I'm sure you could have a smell for everything. What sort of repertoire do you have to pull from as far as scents and whatnot? Like, how many do you have, or do you have like a sort of a constant creation of like new scents? Like, how does all that work?
Today we have around 200 different smells, but yeah, as I mentioned, constantly we are incorporating new smells because maybe for one project we need to develop a new scent. Sometimes the customer shares the fragrance with us. We made some projects for L'Oreal and they share their own fragrances.
Hmm.
So we can encapsulate scents that we get in oil or fragrance. We can encapsulate it with no problem. So yeah, we have a wide range of different smells.
Yeah. And so, to somebody that would say, for example, because I'm not sure as far as price and stuff like that, but let's just say, for example, somebody who is into essential oils or into different scents and whatever, what if somebody said, what is the difference between what you have and somebody just going to the store and getting diffuser or something. What is the technology difference, or what are you paying for is what I'm asking. What is the difference in technology and things that you're bringing that somebody else might not be bringing?
One thing is you can activate specific smells via software. With a standard diffuser, you have only the on-off mode.
Yeah.
Here you can on a specific moment activate one or other smell. Second difference is realism. Our smells are highly realistic. We use natural essential oils with very realistic, 100%,
Mm-hmm.
very easy to identify. And third part will be this fan. Okay,
Hmm.
this fan helps to move the sense, to focus the smell on the user, and even remove it from the room. Helps to make it more flexible and rapidly change the smell, which is not possible with standard diffusers. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
If you have diffusers at your home, you know that you put on and this takes for
Yeah.
hours maybe, and when it turns off, you need a lot of minutes. Here you have impacts of smells.
How big is your company? Like, how many people do you have working on it? What is the build time as far as like, having to build synthesizers? Is it sort of a custom thing? How is the business side of things for you?
We're still a small company. This is a very new industry, still small market for this. We are currently working 5 people in the team, but we have many other collaborators. This is electronics, aromas. Yes, we have the team, a small team in company, but other people uh, surrounding, which helps a
Mm-hmm.
lot, especially for new projects where we need on new smells or new update on the electronics, whatever. So we have collaborators.
And as far as your expertise, you work with startups, so you know about technology and things like that. Where does your expertise help you or has helped you as you develop this? This is newer technology. So, like, do you see yourself as like the innovator of this? Like, do you see yourself as like someone who can, take this and make it into some, super grand, bajillion-dollar idea? Like, what is your big picture view of this product and, just your expertise in technology and things like that as it is? Like, where do you see this going, say, 10 to 20 years down the road? Is this a technology that more people are just going to be like, yeah, I can't really think of too many things where people have used smells as an enhancement, whether it be a game or, everybody knows about scratch and sniff and things like that, but not necessarily like you're watching a movie and you see something on screen and then you smell it. That's like smell-o-vision. So where does your expertise, where do you see things going like in the future?
Well, my expertise says something and my dreams say a different thing. That's what
Yeah.
yeah. And we're doing good in B2B today. So we are focused on this and getting more customers day after day. We have some calls in the past from companies such Apple or important companies which shown interest in this.
Hmm.
Obviously, they need a more robust product. I mean, they don't want to replace the stands. They don't want, they ask for things that today for us is not possible. Maybe if we grow in B2B, maybe we can attract these companies.
I can see how businesses would use that, but I can also see what you mean by they want machines that are going to run forever and don't ever need to be replaced. So, what is sort of the maintenance like of the machine? Like, how often do you have to change scents? Like, how often would you have to work on the fans, things like that? Like,
Yeah. Let me show you one of the scent cartridges
mm-hmm.
because this can help. Okay. This is one of the 10 cartridges. We
Okay,
manufactured this. So
yeah, pretty
produce
nice
for
size. Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned, intensity is configurable, which means that depending on the intensity, this the cartridge lasts for more or less
Mm-hmm.
send activations. But on average, you can expect 90 send activations for a low intensity per cartridge, which means if you have 10 cartridges in your machine, you can expect up to 900
Right. Right.
send activations. This is good for a normal room, for a game room or standard living room.
Yeah.
For larger spaces, events or something where you need to set a higher intensity, well, then this number of shots should be decreased accordingly.
Mm-hmm. If you have a really small room, having one of those machines, if you only have one shot of that a day, now I'm not sure, depending on how strong the scent is, if it lingers in the room and stuff like that, that's 3 months. So technically, you could go from 3 months at the smallest to maybe a month or two, I guess. I'm sure a company like you said, a big company, they're gonna want to shoot that thing. They probably don't want to do that because they feel like they're gonna be using it a whole bunch. As far as VR and AR and games and stuff like that, I can see how movies and stuff would be a little easier because you can watch the movie from start to finish and you can pinpoint, okay, the smell could go here. Okay, smell could go here. You just have to pay attention to the movie. When it comes to a video game, though, you don't necessarily know what the player is going to do or what certain place some person might go versus not go. Does it take getting with the person that created the game and saying, okay, what sense do you want? Or is it more of, do you go and play the games or have somebody play test it and say, hey, we could put the smells right here? How do you go about determining what you feel like will work for whatever project you're working on, as opposed to like whatever the customer is thinking it might work? Since this is such a new technology, people probably don't necessarily know what they can and can't do or what's possible just
Yeah.
yet. So how do you sort of break it down to them to say, hey, you can do this, or hey, you can't do this? How do you sort of break that down to them?
The process will be contacting with the developers so they can include the scent activation in their own game. We can use AI here to help for some many obvious scent activations via AI
Mm-hmm.
do it. But yes, and a game, as you say, is unpredictable what the, the user does when playing. A good solution will be to talk with the developers and they manually program the activation in specific moments. And for this, we are going for an event in USA in June. Is AWE 2025 in Long Beach, where one of the goals is to showcase the technology, and the other is contact with VR developers, with content developers, game developers. Say, okay, guys, you have this. You can enrich your game with this. Let's make some projects jointly and check how it impacts the users.
I'm just trying to think outside the box of how this could be used. You could take it to the gaming tournament and people are watching it on the big screen or something like that, and they get a smell of what the players are doing, like if they're in a certain area or something. The technology it could really go far reaching. I do music, and so I could see where if you were doing a small show, maybe a song has a smell. I could see a whole bunch of stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. As far as pricing and how you're looking at it as a business, what can people expect as far as pricing or maintenance? Like, say I'm the consumer and I come across it, I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. I would like one of those. What am I looking at as far as maintenance? Obviously, you got to replace the cartridges and do certain things. Where would you be getting the cartridges from? Is everything being shipped from Long Beach or Spain or wherever it's made? Give me the logistics as far as, okay, I'm ready to buy now.
Well, we sell the product online. You can check out olorama.com, an online store where you can get the hardware and the replacement. We're shipping units worldwide every week. Very clear, quick guide to install the technology. So yes, today everybody can enjoy movies with sense, simply with a PC and our software, which is free. You can play your movies in our software and enjoy.
Does it come with its own software suite, or how does the software mesh with bringing it to life part? Like, what is the software?
Very easy. We are software engineers, so
Yeah.
this part is well developed. So yes, specifically for games, it's automatic. You only need to play the movie. And for VR, once we get in touch with developers, they can include the code, so it will be automatic. Today, it's not for VR. You have to manually program send activations. But we provide other integration systems like DMX or for an SDK. You can program your send activations.
Yeah.
If you're a developer.
If they want to reach out, find the product, the website, all of that good stuff, give us the rundown as far as so people can reach out and find it.
Olorama.
Olorama.com. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And do you have any social media or anything like that?
Yes, we are active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm planning to publish content for Instagram. Still preparing the strategy for this. As I say, we were very focused on B2B. So we're making a soft transition to B2C also. Yes. Very soon we will have the Instagram channel populated of content.
Gotcha. Do you guys do like events and whatnot? Obviously, you got the movies and the VR and stuff, but like, do you have people reach out to you to do standalone events, sort of 2-3 day events where you can have smells going? How do you look at branching that out as far as not just doing movies and VR and AR? What other ideas do you have to put to it?
Depending on the sense and what they require, we can have an idea. So yes, in events is very popular. Our system they used to install or technology in cabins, immersive cabins. Also in universities, have we have more than 20 different universities with our system. They are doing some research projects studying how the scent impacts on the users, on the people. So yes, many different projects are part of movies or museums.
Oh yeah, bunch of different use cases for it for sure. It's definitely interesting stuff.